It's 2 a.m. Your baby just made a sound you've never heard before. A weird grunt, a sudden twitch, a hiccup that just won't stop. And you're standing there in the dark, Googling with one hand, holding your phone 6 inches from your baby's face with the other, wondering, is this normal? Hi, I'm Jen. I'm a nurse practitioner at IBCLC, and today we're going to walk through the newborn behaviors that just send parents straight to the emergency room, when most of the time they're completely normal, totally 100%. So let's take a breath and let's get into it. So your newborn sounds like a tiny, congested old man. There's snuffling, there's snorting. Sometimes it sounds like they're literally struggling to breathe. Terrifying, right? Here's the thing. Newborns have tiny noses and they're obligatory nose breathers. They really don't know how to breathe through their mouth. And their nasal passages, they're like the size of a pencil lead. That's so tiny. So any little bit of mucus, dryness, normal congestion, amniotic fluid that's trying to make its way out, it all makes nasty sounds. And the fact that there's cartilage is still soft and floppy, you've got a symphony of strange noises. Most of the time, noisy breathing is completely fine in a newborn. Pediatricians even have a name for this. It's called periodic breathing, and it can include short pauses, speed ups, slowdowns. They're all normal. So you actually do want to call your doctor if you see the skin pulling in between the ribs or under the throat when they breathe. That's called retracting. If their lips or fingernails turn blue, or if they seem to be working really hard just to get air in, my biggest red flag for moms is if they can't eat and breathe at the same time. They'll want to eat because they're hungry, but they can't coordinate. They're stuck and breathe at the same time. And so they'll stop, get mad, catch their breath. That's when you want to be seen. Next, we have the constant feeding. Your baby eats, then they cry, then they want to eat again. Then you fed them just 45 minutes later. And how is this possible? You start wondering if something's wrong. Are they not getting enough? Is your milk supply low? Is the formula wrong? Newborns' stomachs are tiny. On day one of life, a newborn stomach is about the size of a marble. So little goes a long way. They also digest it quickly because it's such a small amount. So they fill up fast and they empty fast. They're going through massive developmental leaps, learning about life outside the womb. There's growth spurts at 2 weeks, 6 weeks, 3 months, and that's when they really cluster like crazy. That's not something broken. That's fuel for some of the most intense brain and body growth that will ever happen in their lives. So if your baby's producing enough wet and dirty diapers, they're alert, they're active, they're awake when they're eating, and they're gaining weight, feeding is just fine. Frequent feeding is by design. You're not doing anything wrong. If you're worried, talk to your pediatrician, especially if they seem like they're having trouble latching, if your baby is consistently losing weight or not gaining fast enough, if they seem inconsolable after feedings, or they're not having enough wet diapers. A lactation consultant can also be a game changer if your breastfeeding feels like it's not working, or if you want that reassurance by doing a weighted feed. We always worry about hiccups. Your baby hiccups a lot, like multiple times a day, sometimes for 20 minutes straight. You start wondering if their diaphragm is broken. It's not, I promise. Hiccups are caused by the diaphragm, that big dome shape muscle under the lungs. It gets irritated and it spasms. In newborns, that diaphragm is brand new and a little excitable. It gets triggered by feeding, burping, temperature changes, air bubbles. Basically, anything will trigger it. Babies actually hiccup in the womb, as moms probably know, and typically the ones that hiccup a lot in the womb are going to be hiccuping a lot when they're born too. They're completely normal. It's reflexive. Their bodies do it as they develop their neurological system. So basically, newborn hiccups are harmless. Most babies don't even seem bothered by them. You might be far more bothered by it and stressed by it than your baby is. Try burping mid-feed, take breaks, keep them upright after feeding. They can all help that hiccup frequency. But if hiccups keep coming, it's okay. When you want to worry is if hiccups seem to cause your baby's distress, if they interfere with feeding, if they come alongside other symptoms like excessive spitting up, that would be worth mentioning to your pediatrician. But solo hiccups, completely normal. So what about the startle reflex? You've finally gotten your baby to sleep. You set them back down, you back away like you're defusing a bomb, and you almost make it to the door, and then their arms fly out and their eyes go wide and they look like they just saw a ghost. Cue the crying, cue your heartbreaking, and starting everything back over. This is called the Morrow reflex or the startle reflex. And it's one of the coolest things about newborns from a neuroscience perspective because it's a primitive survival reflex. When a baby senses a sudden change in their environment, a sound, a movement, feeling of falling, their nervous system triggers this response. Arms go out, then pull in, and then they cry. The Morrow reflex is completely normal from birth, even to up to about 3 months, sometimes 6 months, depending on the sensitivity of your baby. It naturally fades as the nervous system matures. Swaddling is your best friend here. It mimics the security of the womb and it dampens the reflex so it doesn't wake them up. When to worry about the Morrow reflex is if it's only present on one side of the body, but both hands flying out symmetrically, that's just your baby's brain doing its job. Here's a few more things. Cross-eyed. Yes, normal. Newborns' eye muscles are still developing, so their eyes may cross, they may wander until about 3 to 4 months. If it persists past 4 months, see your pediatrician. Next thing, grunting during pooping. Absolutely normal. It's called grunting baby syndrome. That's a real term. They haven't quite learned to relax their pelvic floor when they're pushing. So straining and going red in the face is completely normal. What's not normal would be blood in the stool or going more than a few days without pooping in that first month. After the first month, if they're breastfed, they can go a week or so without pooping. As long as they're passing gas, totally normal. Next up, breast tissue. Both male and female babies can have swollen breast tissue and even produce a small amount of milk in the first few days after birth. This is caused by maternal hormones, pass through the placenta, it goes away on its own after a few months. Don't squeeze it, don't mess with it, it's totally fine, just ignore it. Here's what I want you to take away from this video. Your baby came with no instruction manual, and your instinct is to pay attention to every little thing. That's not anxiety, that's love doing its job. But also, newborns are weirdly resilient little creatures. Their bodies are doing extraordinary things right out of the gate. And a lot of what looks alarming is just development in action. Trust your gut. If something really feels wrong, not just unfamiliar, but wrong, call your pediatrician. It's better to have that reassurance. It's what they're there for. There's no stupid question when it comes to your baby. And if this video helped you breathe a little bit easier tonight, hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.